J.D. Sumner's voice not only amazed his gospel music fans, but the Guinness Book of World Records recorded J.D. singing the lowest note ever registered, a double low C. This note is sung on the recording of Blessed Assurance, and again on the Elvis Presley recording of Way Down.
J.D. was probably the most unusual voice ever come along in our business. He was, I don't care if it was early in the morning or middle afternoon or late at night, J.D. always had an incredible low voice. On recitations, he was impeccable, you know. And singing low notes, it wasn't just growling. He had a tone to those low notes, you know. A lot of people hit a low note, but it sounded like they're grunting, you know. It's not singing, but he could sing those low notes. And he was an incredible voice that J.D. was. Probably, I don't think there's ever been another one like him, you know. Never.
I'm just amazed at J.D.'s voice because we sing with so many different bass singers, and every time you're working with a bass singer, they all want more volume. You have to just keep turning them up, turning them up, turning them up. And it just amazed me that after just getting through with a group that has a bass singer where I've had him cranked up as far as I could get him to go, that J.D. would come up there and turn it down to like maybe half the volume they had and just blow you away with his voice.
J.D. brought a new style of bass singing into the professional quartet world. He not only could he sing the normal bass register, but he created this kind of a freakish sound. Somebody said it was freakish. I don't know where he got that bit, but he developed a low register there. Well, in the Guinness Book of Records, you know, he was the lowest bass singer that ever lived, and he did that on his own. He created that extra register down there that no other bass singer in the business ever had until Sumner came along.
His voice is just so incredible. I don't think there'll ever be another voice like that. And it was always that way. I mean, every day. And every time I'd run into him after I hadn't seen him for a while, I'd think, you know, I didn't remember that it was that low. But it always was. You know, he could sing right on off the scale of the piano. No trick at all for him. He always said the secret of that was being able to relax the vocal cords. And I've tried it and tried to figure out what he's trying to tell me. It doesn't work for me, but it worked for him very well.
Although J.D.'s career was demanding in every aspect, his love for his music was only overshadowed by his love for his family and his precious wife, Mary.
Mary was, you know, was such a lady and always took such good care of J.D. But I always admired her because she had such grace about her. But at the same time, she was kind of always in the background. She never really seemed to want center stage. And that was J.D.'s place. And she was perfectly happy and content with that. And it was just fun to watch her as she watched J.D. and how she just never seemed to ever be anything but total grace.
We'd stop the bus some truck stop. At that time, we had no mobile phones, and a payphone worked quite well back in those days. And he would call her and tell her he loved her. And hang up. Wouldn't say anything else but that. We get back on the bus, we go back down the road again, and in a few minutes he said, stop the bus on his phone. He'd go back in, he would call her and say, I love you. Hang the phone up, and we did that for many, many times. And then he had several dozen roses sent to her, so that the roses would get there right before we would get home, because he wanted to be a special time for them. I can't remember doing anything that romantic. I can't, it's kind of like you would see in an old movie. But the story is so true. You know, that love was a bond that death can't break.
Mother dying before Daddy did was the biggest shock of all, as far as the family was concerned, because we always figured we'd lose Daddy first. And in late August, early September of 92, we found out that Mother had 3 melanoma brain tumors and that she had, at best, 3 months to live. And I'm not sure Daddy ever recovered from that. I mean, it was finding out that, you know, that the love of his life of 52 years, 52 and a half years, you know, would not be there. He was never the same. You know, he tried to bounce back, and he did of sorts. And his life was full, but there was always that underlying, you know, misery of not having my mother.
Thanks so much for watching this clip from New Haven Collections. For full episodes of some fantastic shows, go to www.countryroadtv.com. And if you'll use the code New Haven, you'll get a month free. Don't forget you can see some great performances at 615 Hideaway. Be sure to click the box above to go to their channel. Again, thanks so much for watching.